Imagine, for those of you who are women out there, and those of your fathers, that you have a new baby and everybody comes over and they tell you what you're going to name your child. It's amazing. Listen to this. When they came on the 8th day to circumcise the child, they were going to call him Zechariah. And what do they have to do with it? Mom and dad are Elizabeth and Zechariah. And so Elizabeth had to say, no, he will be called John. And now they have an argument. Well, nobody calls their son John, nobody in your family. And finally, they make signs to the father Zechariah. What does he think? And he writes down that John is his name. And then his mouth is open and his ears are open. He said, wow, there's something really big going on here. It's really quite a fascinating story. So today, the church celebrates the feast of the birth of St. John the Baptist. In the church, this is known as a solemnity. It's kind of the highest feast you can have. That's why we have extra readings, and we also have the creed at Mass. And just 3 months ago, March 25th, was the Feast of the Annunciation. And that's what the Archangel Gabriel told Mary, and your cousin Elizabeth is in her 6 months. Add 3 more months, 9 months. Now it's the birth of John the Baptist, which means Christmas is just 6 months away. So you got to start saving for your Christmas gifts. So St. John the Baptist was the last and the greatest of all the prophets. But prophets have a dangerous job. They have to announce the truth. And Jesus knew they kill the prophets. And they killed John the Baptist because he stood up for what was right. And he told Herod, you can't live with her. She's not your wife. She's your brother's wife. And that made him furious and made his lawful or unlawful wife furious. And we know what happened to St. John the Baptist. But the greatest thing that St. John the Baptist did was he pointed out the way to the apostles that Jesus was the Lamb of God. You remember that moment? It's recorded here in this stained glass window, the first luminous mysteries, the baptism of Jesus in the Jordan. And John gets down the water, says, I shouldn't baptize you, you should baptize me. And Jesus said, let alone for now, for it fulfills all righteousness. But here at the baptism in the Jordan, John the Baptist points to Jesus and says, he's the Lamb of God. There's the Lamb of God. And James and John begin to follow the Lord. And it was also on that occasion, he said the very memorable words, he must increase, I must decrease. Right? It's his turn. He's the Messiah. He's the Lamb of God. He must increase and I must decrease. So it's interesting, at this time of year, the days begin to get shorter. We've just had the summer solstice. And then when Jesus is born, the days, the light of the world, begin to get longer. He must increase, I must decrease. I always like to tell a story on this occasion of the first time I celebrated Mass in the Church of the Visitation in the Holy Land. It's a little town called Ein Karim. And after the Mass, I went back to the sacristy, and I was taking off my vestments, and there was a Franciscan friar there helping me, because they have Masses every hour there for the pilgrim groups. And we started to talk. It was clear he was from Poland, and I was from the United States. He spoke Polish, I spoke English. I don't speak Polish, he didn't speak English, but we were able to communicate to each other in Italian, because that's sort of the language you can speak at those holy sites. And one thing led to another. I asked him how long he's been here at this shrine. He said, for 6 years. Before this, I was in Bethlehem. And then he said, and my term is over next month. They will send me somewhere else. I don't know where. It doesn't matter. And I thought, wow, that's an amazing statement. Here's a very intelligent man, very capable person. And he wasn't cynical and he hadn't given up on life. He just had made himself completely available for the needs of the church. They, whoever they are, will send me somewhere else. I don't know where, but it doesn't matter. Isn't that amazing? Availability, humility, spirit of service. Very intelligent person. Probably could have done whatever he wanted to in life, but he chose to serve. I was always impressed with that. I thought it was very much like the response of Our Lady. Let it be done to me according to the word. And that's the daily struggle we all have, to be in sync with God's plans and not our plans. And if we ask the Blessed Mother to help us in that regard, she certainly will. And that would be our joy in life. I'm here to serve. And I've noticed that people who have that spirit of service are very, very joyful people, and that attracts people to Christ.